Welcome. Today for my spirit log, I've decided to just pull a card or two, and I selected the medicine cards. Let's see, here we go. To pull from today. These are by Jamie Sams, and the cards themselves, actually I just pulled up this blank one. There you go, can you see that? They're just beautiful. They're beautiful and simple, and I suspect that there's a whole lot more meaning in them than what is shared in the book that I don't know, because this is not necessarily my home tradition, so to speak. But I decided I'd like to do a basic reading for you today, and I think what I'm focusing on is the idea that I, at least for myself, am struggling with some new opportunities that have come along, and I'm not sure if I should take those opportunities. I'm not sure if that's the right opportunity for me, or if I'm ready for that opportunity. It might be the right opportunity in 2 years. This might not be the right timing for that thing, or if it's actually something I don't really need, if I've already advanced beyond the point of that being a good option for me, if my situation has changed that much. And I believe at this time of year, we're just sort of moving through spring and into a point where it's safe to put out plants and have them grow, that a lot of us are at that point of having new opportunities show up in our lives, and that it might be a useful thing to pull a card. So I think I'm going to pull a card for me for the specific opportunity that I'm looking into, and then I'm going to pull a card in general in support of anyone who is looking at new opportunities right now. And again, when I look at tarot cards, what I'm looking at is a way to gain additional information or a new perspective that I might not have considered on my own. And I'm not seeing it as a way to make a decision. I'm not asking some card to make a decision for me. I'm asking it to help me understand my own option, my way of making the decision. And so with that in mind, here we go. And the first thing I'm actually going to do is just sort of connect in with universal knowledge and get into that space where I know that it's not my anxiety picking a card, or my fear doing the reading, or my concerns, or my busy mind. I really just want to connect in and see what floats up as wisdom at this time. You know, another thing I've been realizing is that I wear these glasses and they have this reflection a lot. And I'm not quite sure what to do about the reflection. Sorry, there's my sewing machine in the background. But I'm aware of it. I'm going to sit with it and see what I can come up with. But in the meantime, so I'm taking my deck of cards and I'm shuffling them just to clear them of anything else that I might have been asking previously. And actually right away there's this card jumping off the bottom. And that's interesting to me because it's a blank card, and it's the same card that I pulled up when I first pulled the deck apart to show you something. So I'm going to keep that out because I think that's important, and I'm going to look into that for meaning. And then I'm going to also, right here, right now, pull a second card. That's more general for anyone else who's reading this today with a question. And it came up as 2, so we'll look at both of those. So we've actually got a 3-card reading right now. Now, normally when you do a 3-card reading, you do it in order. You do the current situation, you do what's influencing the situation or what's holding you back or something, something that's acting on that situation, and then you do a potential outcome or you do a way to get through that problem. So 3 cards, generally speaking, you have one that's basically a way to check in to make sure you're on the same page as the reading, like, is this my reading? What is the situation that we're looking at? And the second card is the action one or the lack of action one. It's the challenge or the problem or the movement card. And the next one is the solution. And the solution can either be how to move past the challenge, or it can be the outcome of the movement that's happening. So 3-card readings like that, that's more traditional. You can do past, present, future. There are millions of ways to do a 3-card reading. And in our case, it's a little bit unique because of what I asked or what I was holding in my mind as I pulled the cards. And the first thing was for myself. I'm looking at this particular opportunity and whether or not it's appropriate for me at this time. And this is what I got, was this blank one that actually reminds me very much of a traditional Native American drum, which I know there's actually a drum card in here, so I'm not going to assume that that's what it is, but I'm going to just see what symbolism floats up for me and see how that might apply to broaden my thinking about this question. So the drum is great medicine. It is both the heartbeat of earth and also the thunder of change, of great and sudden change. So it's both the nurturing and the impactful, depending on how you work with that tool. And what kind of healing is needed. And I already have a traditional Native American drum, or, well, somewhat traditional. It was made in a traditional way. I helped to birth that drum with my teacher, who was trained by his teacher and in their tradition. So it was truly a gift to participate in that with the drum that now I am caretaking and will pass on someday down the road because I know it will outlive me. So the caretaking of the drum, and I'm already doing that. The other thing that comes to me is the idea of the blank slate and just not knowing what's written there yet. And that's an interesting thing because what I'm looking into is a workshop that markets itself as a way to help you find your purpose in the world. And for me, that's always kind of a sticky thing because in its purest form, I already know my work in the world, in its expression, in the way that it's actually going to happen physically, and how to have that support me financially. That part I don't know, and I feel somewhat lost about. And it's even more complicated because my full-time job right now and for some time to come is my health, is trying to either get well or learn how to get the most out of what I have left at this time if improvement isn't an option. And I don't know. I am not God. I do not know what my future holds until I get there. And this certainly represents that, that truth for me. I'm going to have to sit with that one some more, but I would like to get on to actually doing a reading of the 2 that came up when I did more general for you about the new things that you're thinking about starting at this point in the circle of your wheel, of your time, of your year. And so what I'd like you to do is to pick a number. That's how we'll do this one. Each of these is numbered, and I'm going to have you pick a number, and then we'll look up what each number is actually attached to and what it means. So you have number 28 in my left hand, or number 30 in my right hand. And just sit with that and like, yeah, which one are you attracted to in this moment? Not which one should you be attracted to, not what does it mean to you, just like, oh, hey, that sounds good to me right now, 28. Yeah, I like that. Or, oh, hey, you know, I was really happy when I reached 30. We'll do 30. Or, wow, I want more. How about 30? Or, you know, whatever that is. I like 2s and 8s. So now I'm going to look those up. And I turned to the wolf and the raven. That's really interesting. Okay, so here's 28. 28 is armadillo. Boundaries. And again, I want to honor and give credit to Jamie Sams for the intention and the readings, because these are her cards and this is her book that I'm reading from. Boundaries. Armadillo wears its armor on its back, its medicine a part of its body. Its boundaries of safety are a part of its total being. Armadillo can roll into a ball and never be penetrated by enemies. What a gift it is to set your boundaries so that harmful words or intentions just roll off. Your lesson is in setting up what you are willing to experience. And again, we're talking about whether or not to pursue a new experience that has come to you, that a new opportunity or something that you would like to tackle. Your lesson is in setting up what you are willing to experience. If you do not wish to experience feeling invaded, just call on armadillo medicine. A clue to how to proceed is to make a circle on a piece of paper and see it as a medicine shield. Oh, hey, here we go, medicine shield. In the body of the shield, write all that you are desiring to have, do, or experience. Include all things that give you joy. This sets up boundaries that allow only those chosen experiences to be a part of your life. These boundaries become a shield that wards off the things which are undesirable to you. The shield reflects what you are and what your will is to others on an unconscious level. Outside of the shield, you may put what you are willing to experience by invitation only. For example, a visit from a long-lost relative, or criticism from friends, or people needing handouts. If armadillo has waddled into the cards you chose, it is time to define your space. You may have been too willing to let your home become a bus station. You may find that you cannot say no even when you know that you will have to cancel plans to be obliging. This routine can get old in a hurry. It may be time to ask yourself the following questions. So ask these questions about this new thing that you are considering including in your life, in your medicine wheel. 1. Am I honoring the time I need for my personal enjoyment? Am I honoring the time I need for my personal enjoyment? 2. Meow, meow. Yeah, in a minute. In a minute. Meow, meow. Excuse us. Family time, family conversation there with the cats. 2. Do others treat me like a doormat? Do others treat me like a doormat? And 3. Why do I always get upset when I'm taken for granted? Why do I always get upset when I'm taken for granted? And 4. Is there a reason for my being a yes person? Is there a reason for my being a yes person? All of the answers to these questions relate to setting up boundaries. What you will and won't do, what makes you feel uncomfortable, and what is comforting to you. How you react in any circumstance has to do with your ability to be objective. You cannot be objective if you cannot tell where the other person's personality stops and where yours begins. If you have no boundaries, you are like a sponge. It will seem as if all of the feelings in a room full of people must be yours. Ask yourself if you are really feeling depressed or if this feeling actually belongs to the person you are talking to. Then allow Armadillo's armor to slice in between, giving you back your sense of self. And the reverse contrary message for Armadillo is, go ahead, roll up and hide. This, sarcastically, is the message of reversed Armadillo. You may think the only way to win in your present situation is to hide or to pretend that you are armor-coated and invincible, but this is not the way to grow. It is better to open up and find the value and the strength of your vulnerability. You will experience something wonderful if you do. Vulnerability is the key to enjoying the gifts of physical life. In allowing yourself to feel, a myriad of expressions are made available. For instance, a true compliment is an admiration flow of energy. If you are afraid of being hurt and are hiding from feeling anything, you will never feel the joy of admiration from others. The key is in allowing Armadillo to help you stop hiding, and to use Armadillo's armor to deflect negative energies. In this way, you are able to accept or reject any feeling, action, or energy flow without having to hide from it. And the concern is, are you allowing your fear to be a jailer? Is it keeping you from living your life? So that's Armadillo. Setting healthy, strong boundaries and being self-determining, but also not letting fear limit you. The other card I drew is the number 30 card, and it's Rabbit. And now Rabbit I find really interesting because Rabbit pops up so frequently. Woo, there it is. In so many different symbolic ways. So on the one hand, Rabbit often symbolizes fear, and just that sudden gut reaction of running away or freezing. But on another version, Rabbit is very prolific, and Rabbit has so much to offer and so much going on, and so is a very active participant in the world, being here, being there, doing this, doing that, trying things, sniffing the air, can be very exuberant. So I'm interested to see what this particular tarot has to say. Rabbit. Oh, fear. A long time ago, no one really knows how long ago it was, Rabbit was a brave and fearless warrior. Rabbit was befriended by Eyewalker, a witch. The witch and Rabbit spent much time together sharing and talking. The two were very close. And as they moved through a day, Rabbit made many statements like, I'm thirsty or I'm hungry, and Eyewalker provided Rabbit with water and with food that was very delicious, but Rabbit didn't say anything in response. He just took it and ate it. The two continued along the trail which led into the mountains. Near the top, Rabbit tripped and fell and rolled almost to the bottom. Rabbit was in very sad condition when Eyewalker got to him. She used a magic salve on Rabbit to heal his great pain and mend his broken bones. Rabbit didn't say anything. Several days later, Eyewalker went searching for her friend. She searched high and low, but Rabbit was nowhere to be found. Finally, she gave up, and then met Rabbit quite by accident. Rabbit, why are you hiding and avoiding me? The witch asked. Because I am afraid of you. I'm afraid of magic, answered Rabbit, cowering. Leave me alone. I see, said Eyewalker. I have used my magical powers on your behalf, and now you turn on me and refuse my friendship. I want nothing more to do with you or your powers, Rabbit countered. Rabbit did not even see the tears his words were bringing to Eyewalker's eyes. Rabbit, Eyewalker said, we once were great friends and companions, but no more. It is within my power to destroy you, but because of the past and the medicines we have shared together, I will not do this. But from this day forward I lay a curse on you and your tribe. From now on you will call your fears, and your fears will come to you. Be on your way, for the sweet medicine that bound us together as friends are broken. The sweet medicines that bound us together are broken. Now Rabbit is the fear caller. He goes out and shouts, Eagle, I am so afraid of you. If Eagle doesn't hear him, Rabbit calls louder, Eagle, stay away from me. Eagle, now hearing Rabbit, comes and eats him. Rabbit calls bobcats, wolves, coyotes, and even snakes until they come. As this story shows, rabbit medicine people are so afraid of tragedy, illness, disaster, and being taken that they call those very fears to them to teach them lessons. The keynote here is what you resist will persist. What you fear most is what you will become. And in my version of this, what you focus on is what you're feeding. What you're giving all of your energy to is what's going to grow. So if you're giving energy to your fears are going to get bigger, and the potential to draw the thing that you're focused on to you is very large. Now, it's not to say you shouldn't look at potential problems and plan ahead for them, but once you've come up with some basic solutions, or you trust yourself enough to know you'll deal with a problem when it arrives, then it's time to focus on the good things and on improving what you have and doing the best you can and enjoying your life and being happy and appreciative and grateful, because that also, as you feed it, brings more of the same to you, things to be grateful for, things that are nourishing and wonderful that make you happy, because that's what you're feeding, that's where you're putting your energy. And it's an interesting line to walk, because when we talk about this, the first thing that comes to my mind is those little one-liners that everybody puts out there now where, you know, it's almost like you're getting blamed for your troubles. And that is really the least helpful thing to say to somebody who is suffering is, well, it's all your own fault. You must have done something to make this happen to you. No, that's not the purpose at all. The purpose is to prevent tragedy, not to place blame once tragedy occurs, right? The goal is to say, hey, you know, we can be much more resilient when tragedy strikes, or if tragedy strikes, when we have given ourselves so much happiness and fulfillment that we have that there to nurture us through the dark times. But if you don't have those things, or if a dark time comes, what we do is we say, I love you. What can I do to support you? Or, hey, you know, I know the last thing you want to do is to, you know, try and think of something for me to do so I feel better about your tragedy. So I want you to know that I'm here, and I can see that this is a struggle for you right now, so I'm going to support you with that struggle as I can. But in the meantime, the lesson of Rabbit is, don't call for that tragedy so long and so hard and so energetically that it hears you and comes over to greet you in person. And instead, to be grateful for the support and help you receive, either overcoming the tragedy or avoiding the tragedy. Yeah. And the contrary version of all of this is the paralyzed feeling which Rabbit experiences when being stalked is Rabbit in the contrary position. If you have tried to resolve a situation in your life and are unable to, you may be feeling frozen in motion. This could indicate a time to wait for the forces of the universe to start moving again. It could also indicate the need to stop and take a rest. It will always indicate a time when you need to reevaluate the process you are undergoing and to rid yourself of any negative feelings, barriers, or duress. Simply put, you cannot have your influence felt until you rearrange your way of seeing the present set of circumstances. Oh, excuse me. There is always a way out of any situation because the universal force does move on. It is the way in which you handle problems that allows you to succeed. Take a hint from Rabbit. Burrow into a safe space to nurture yourself and release your fears until it is time again to move into the pasture, clear of prowlers who want a piece of your juicy energy. So, thank you for participating with me in this reading. I hope it supports you as you choose to move forward one way or another on your life path, and I look forward to talking with you again soon. Be well.